In this video, we are going to discuss grouping and what groups are. How do you create them? Why do you create them? And so on. So what a group is a set of specific contests that can be managed as a group and not as an individual set of contests. This is very useful on things like, for example, if you have a group of no devil machines and you have a bunch of all-in-ones, let's say you have 5 different all-in-ones, right? And they all kind of work the same way, but they just have like different buy-ins, different pot values, things like that. So like things like your colors, your fonts, whether or not they're on or offline, that's kind of all universal, right? That's kind of, you're not going to have really different fonts, different colors, and so on, or maybe you will, but mostly you won't. So things like that make sense to be in a group. And that way, if you did decide one day, hey, I kind of want to change the way this looks, or I want to change, I want to, yeah, just change some of the stuff around. You don't have to go and change like 5 contests for every single one of your games, right? All you need to do is change the group setting, and then it automatically applies to all the games. So, or all the contests. So this is really, really powerful. The other cool thing you can do with a group is you can actually res a group, or have the builder build, I should say, an entire group of contests in a single object. However, we do have Second Life limitations with this. In Second Life, you cannot link more than 255 objects together. And some of these contests, such as replay, are rather large, and as such, like, you can't res them in world. And the application will tell you whether or not it can or cannot be resed in world. It will either be too big, or it will have too many things to link. But you can still create a group and you can put as many contests in it as you want. You can still manage it as a group. You just might not be able to res the entire group as an object in Second Life. Also, resing the object or building the object as a group in Second Life also has a few other limitations. For example, the contests have to be right next to each other when they're being built, and so on. So it's not always the best option. You still may want to res them as independent contests, but still manage them as a group, and that is fine. So let's create, since we were talking about No Devil, let's talk about Lucky Rainbow, because that's my game and I'd rather talk about that. So let's say you want to create a set of Lucky Rainbows, and you want an all-in-one configuration, and you want it to count the scores, right? You want it to count the scores the players get, and you want it to count cumulatively based on player, right? So the top 5 players that cumulatively score the highest score in all the games they played within, I don't know, 300 games, will win the prizes, okay? This is a very common all-in-one contest. So what we're going to do in order to create this in a group is we're going to start off by saying, okay, let's create a new group. And it's going to say enter the group type. The group type is going to be the contest, okay? You cannot put different types of contests in a singular group because, well, I mean, they're different contests, right? This is a group of the same contests. So we're going to call this all-in-one because it is an all-in-one group, and we're going to enter a unique name for the group. Again, like everything else, this will be unique, okay? Now, let's say that we are going to do this only in the RNA core region, okay? So let's call this RA core AIO Lucky Rainbow. Okay, so this is going to be and we'll call it Lucky Rainbow 1. Okay, we'll put a 1 on it. So, or we can be consistent with replay and put 0, 1. Just in case we want another AIO for Lucky Rainbow, like a different type of contest, we call that 0, 2, right? All right, so then we say, okay, what is the group board layout, the width? Okay, this is only important if you are going to res this in world. You don't really need to bother with it if you're not going to. But let's say that we're going to create 4 contests here. Okay. And let's say that we do, in fact, want to visit in world because we kind of want to demo that, right? So we're going to say the group layout, is 2. Okay, that means that the width of what's being built is going to be 2 contest boards wide. Since it's going to be 4 contest boards, it's going to be a 2 by 2 object. Okay, so it's going to have 4 boards, 2 on top, 2 on bottom. Now it's going to say enter the number of contests to create. So this is how many all-in-one contests are you going to create in this group. Okay, well, we're going to, and you can change this later, but this is just kind of setting it up. Okay, so we're going to say 4. I'm going to say, okay, this says, do you really want to automatically create 4 new contests and add them to this group? Yes. All right, so it's created the group. Oops. Region group type. There we go. It's created the group, RA Core AIO Lucky Rainbow 01. And inside of that, we have of type AIO, or of type all-in-one, we have these 4 contests. RA Core AIO Lucky Rainbow 01 underscore 0001, 0002, 0003, and 0004. So it gets kind of long, right? But these are very unique and you don't really necessarily have to remember them. So we're going to go over here to the group here, okay, because this is the group, the little icon. We're going to double click this. Now, this is going to give us the group settings. So we have the contest ID of the group. So it's an all-in-one group. Here's the name of it. When we created it, contest type, the same stuff that you expect to see through any other contest. But here, you're going to specify, okay, what contests are in this group? You're going to notice here, you have any all-in-ones that are not currently assigned to a group as an available all-in-one to be put in the group. So make sure you don't do that if you don't want it in there, okay? The ones that are selected are the 4 that we've already set up, okay, that we had default. If we decided one day, oh, we want to change our buy-in ranges, we want a 5th, we can do that pretty easily, and I'll show you that in a little bit. So we have our 4 contests here. These are the 4 in the group. And then we have the board layout. You have the default all-in-one, and you have the 10 rank all-in-one. Okay, we're going to use default. And it says, okay, how many contests per row? We've already said that earlier, right? 2. And then you have the ordering of the contests, how they're going to appear. Okay, you notice you may have, if your name is too long, you won't see it here, but if you click on it, you'll see it appear underneath. So you're at 0001, there's 0002, 3, and 4. So let's say we wanted it in order from 1 here, 2 here, 3 here, and 4 here. All you have to do is you take 2 and you just drag it here. And then you have 3 and 4. So you can kind of change the order that, and there's 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is the order that they will appear on the board view within the application, but also how it will be resed in the world if you choose to build this group. And I'll show you again how to do that in world. Then down here, you have probably one of the most important parts, which is which settings are we going to share with every single contest in this group. So when you change a group setting, it will change it for every one of the contests in this group if it is a selected setting. So what you're going to want to put are the things that are more or less going to stay the same. Like buy-in range is not really going to stay the same. All 4 of them are going to be different, right? So we're not going to want buy-in range. So it doesn't hurt, however, to add most everything. And then if you realize, whoops, that's not what I want, just take it out, right? You can just take it out of being a group setting, and it will become an actual contest setting. So bots manager, well, we're probably going to use the same smart bot settings for everything. Contest output, the status, fonts and colors. Whoops. Now this is a little bit confusing. It says games remaining. That does not mean the number of games remaining will be shared between the contests. What that means is the games remaining settings would be shared. So if you say, oh, there's going to be 300 games contest, I want to share that, then you can share that, and each one will be, that setting will be shared, but it won't share the actual current games remaining. Okay, input evaluator, we'll go over that. Messaging, okay, the payer. The pot, we're not gonna share because I think each buy-in is gonna have a different pot. But pot increment, I think we will share because the pot increment is like how much percentage are we adding to the pot? I think that's gonna be the same, right? I think the regions that this operates in is gonna be the same. I think the score range will probably be the same. And the sources are gonna be the same, right? We're gonna use Lucky Rainbows. The timer, this is the timer settings, kind of like the game's remaining. Timer settings, yeah, we're going to share that. Okay, so we have buy-in range, pot, and ranking are not going to be shared, and the rest of them will be. So let's see if we picked the right ones. Maybe we didn't. I can't fully remember either. There's a lot to this system to remember. So now that we've moved all this over, we're going to go here in the group. We're going to go to shared contest settings. These are the settings that will apply to every single contest in the group. Now, I will say that if you have a contest and you're like, oh, I've got 150 contests in this group that you're managing, well, okay, you can do that. Do be aware, however, that each setting that you change might take a little bit more time because it's actually changing 150 contests worth of settings. Okay, so it's going through and it's actually just applying that very quickly for you. It will still go fast, but the more contests you have managed in a group, the longer it will take. Okay, so we have the allowed regions. We have Dragonfire and RA Core. So let's go ahead and move RA Core over here to the allowed regions. And we said this was for Lucky Rainbow. So we don't want to include Space Racer or Devil. And if we had a whole bunch of sources here, we could just type like Lucky Rain. Okay, and then you've got your Lucky Rainbows, and you can drag, drop here, and now our Lucky Rainbows apply. The payer region, we're going to pay an RNA core, and now we're going to talk about payments priority. The default is low. You should always leave this to low unless you want a payment from a contest to be granted higher priority to get paid out. The only type of contest I would recommend that you make a higher priority would be instant win contest. For example, the over the top. If the player wins a 2 million, Linden massive jackpot, you want them to get that money very quickly. So you're going to make that a high priority. The payments priority means that if the system has pending payments, the payments will be made in order, and it shows it here in the help, in order of replay is first, the highest priority, and nothing can be set to higher priority than replay. That's also why in the previous video, when I created the replay contest, I said this did not apply to replay, because it doesn't matter what you set it to, replay is always the highest priority. And then after a replay, it's high, medium, and low. So I would suggest setting everything to low, which doesn't mean it's going to be slow. It just means that, it's a standard contest payout. For something like over the top, I would probably set that to high, okay? Because I think there's no other contest that you're going to want to pay out faster than that with the exception of replay, okay? And then any other type of instant win contest that's maybe not overly important to pay out fast, you could set to medium, okay? And that way, if you have, let's hypothetically say you did a massive year-end contest on all-in-one and you have 500 people that need paid, and at the exact same time, as soon as it starts paying, somebody wins a massive over-the-top. Well, the over-the-top payment is going to be put at the front of the line, and it will be made before the remainder of the all-in-one payments. So that's kind of how that works. So you have your standard settings that you would expect that we already went through on the replay, your colors and all that junk. And then you have your stuff that you would normally expect in an all-in-one when you're editing the note card in the current system. This is the exact same thing. Okay, you've got your session timer, the games required, and so on. Now, remember at the beginning we said, well, we're going to do 300 games, right? So we're going to turn that on. We're going to set games required to 300. Okay? The evaluator type, you can pick, this means how is it going to generate a score? What determines the score that's going to be put on the all-in-one contest, right? This is the same thing as the current all-in-one for the most part. It has a little extra options in it. You can choose the score of the game, the buy-in, 1 point per game, so you can, if you have contests that are like every game gets a point, 1 point if the game is won, 1 point if the game is lost, or a custom evaluator. We're not going to go over the custom evaluator. In fact, we probably won't go over that in the tutorial video. We will have documentation over that. However, at some point, at the time of this video, we don't have, I don't have, I should say, the full documentation on this. So I don't know exactly how that's done, but we will get documentation out for the custom evaluator at a later time. For now, because we said we wanted to do it cumulatively based on their score, we're just going to set score. That means the game score. Okay. Use proportional score to the buy-in. So if we wanted to do proportional, which we do, we ran into a little problem here because proportional score to buy-in is a setting that we have set to shared. This is all of a sudden a problem because if we turn this on, we have to specify a higher buy-in connected. And if we want to set this up where the higher buy-in connected is the high buy-in of the board, we're not going to be able to do this as a group setting. So it's okay if you want to use a higher buy-in connected and you can just say, you know, I don't know, 500 or something, and it would kind of keep the scores low. But we want to do this the right way. So we're like, oops, we made a mistake. We can go back here to group settings. We come over here to input evaluator and just take it off of select. Okay, now we go back to shared contest settings, and that setting is no longer there, as you see. It's gone. And I'll show you where it is in a minute. So we've got 300 games required. Pot increment is disabled, and the reason it is disabled is because right now we have this set to, let me see, I believe it's because we have it set to a, no, I'd have to look at the, I need to look at the other settings. We'll do that in a minute. The settings on the individual contests. So, okay, so yeah, we got pot increment disabled. We'll change that in a minute. And then you have the bot manager and the messaging. Again, the messaging, just like replay, you know, we're going to say, you know, RA core, we're going to have it shout. We're going to set the swirl and all that. We'll do all that. Yeah, well, let me just do it now. Okay, so we're all good here. Let's just do that. Okay, pending changes, save. Good. Okay, now we're going to close that and come over here. And I'm going to open each of these. Let me do it here. Okay, so now we have the 4 individual contests, right? You see up here 01, 02, 03, and over here we have 04. Okay, we're going to say 01. And then we go to contest specific settings. Okay, and you have the buy-in range, the minimum buy-in, the maximum buy-in. Okay, you have your ranking settings, and you have your input evaluator. So this is the stuff that we did not have in the group settings. So you have to go to each of the contests and specify. So we're going to change the prize type here to be a jackpot percentage. Okay. And then we're going to set the pot type to be a progressive pot. We're going to start it, I don't know, at 100. And then we're going to set the buy-in ranges here. This is going to be the first one. So we're going to say, I don't know, 10 to 100. Higher buy-in connected is going to be 100. That's from the input evaluator. And then we're going to say they're going to get a percentage of the jackpot. There's going to be 5 positions. Let's do the first place gets 60. 20, 10, 6, and 4. We're going to save. And you notice the red thing said it's not away because this all adds to 100%. All right. Now we're going to go do the same thing to the second. This one we're going to say, okay, 250 to 1,000. Higher buying connected, 1,000. Jackpot percentage. Progressive. Start that at 2,500. Same thing. 60, 20, 10, 6, 4. And then we're going to finish this up by going, I don't know, 1,500 to 10,000. And then we're going to say progressive. Starting pot. I don't know, 10,000. That sounds nice. Higher buying connected, 10,000. Whoops. All right. Save it. And then over here, the specific, we're going to say 12,500 to infinite because that's going to be the last one, right? So we'll go to 100,000. Higher buying connected, 100K. Percentage. Progressive. 100,000. 60, 20, 10, 6, 4. Save. Now, you see the ranking. We've kind of used the same settings every time, right? So we could probably keep that as a shared setting. So we're going to go back to the group. Shared settings. And you notice the pot increment now gives us an option. And the reason it's no longer disabled is because it knows that there are contests inside of this group that are configured to be progressive pots, right? And so now you have a reason to add values to that pot. So we're going to say 1% to the pot. We're not going to add any flat Linden. If you want to add flat Linden, this means every game that comes in, the pot will go up by this much Linden. Okay, it can also be decimal, that's fine. But the way it gets added is both things will be added to the contest. So it would add 1% plus 1 Linden if we did it like that for every single game, regardless of buying it. So we're going to save this. And then we're going to change it around a little bit because we said where was it? The the ranking was the same. So we're going to set that to selected because over here, whoops, where is it? The ranking is all the same, right? It's always jackpot percentage, always cumulative. So at this point, we have the group set up the way we want it. Oops, here it is. Yeah, the group is set up the way we want it. We have our group settings, everything's configured, and then our individual games. We've configured each contest for every buy-in that we want. Now we come back over here and we're like, okay, well, how does this look, right? So I'm not going to res this in the world, although we can. And it will res it exactly as you see it, and it will be a single object. But the reason I'm not going to do that is because it will take a while. I could pause the video and do it and show you, and I might do that. But we're not going to res it in the world. But I am going to turn this online. And now that it's online, all 4 of these contests are now on. And I'm going to go to board view, and I'm going to say start simulation. And I'm starting the simulation of the group. Notice I'm here on the group. So if you do it from the group, it will show you all 4 contests on this screen. If you res it in the world, this is how it will look. Okay. And the player will be able to interact with these buttons, and it will act as you would expect. If they click page down here, it will page down only on this board. Okay. If you wanted, for whatever reason, to look at just a single one of these boards, let's say you wanted to look at the 100,000 board, you can open up that contest, go to board view, start simulation, default, okay, and you'll see just that one board. So, and again, this is everything we set: 12,500 to infinite, score range infinite, 5 ranks, 60, 20, 10, 6, 4, an hour long, 300 games. I think I meant to turn the timer off, but you know, that's fine. If you do want to turn the timer off, you can. You can come over here. You have to stop the contest because, kind of like the existing all-in-one, right? When you make a change to the note card, it doesn't apply until the next session. So you have to open up your group settings, come over here, go to the timer right here, session timer, off. And you come up to the very top and you say offline, online, and that's all. And now when you go back to board view, start simulation, you have time to go disable for all the boards. So you've now made a change. It's like you just edited 4 note cards and saved them and waited for it to reload and then clicked yes to apply. Okay, so you've done all that very quickly. Okay, so very cool stuff. Groups are very powerful, and it is very good to do this on multiple games. The next video, because this one went kind of long, is going to go over cloning this and how to set it up for other games.